welcome to our show. My name is Kate.
Hello, Mike Maletti.
My name's Jeff.
Okay, and we are talking about, what are we talking about?
We're talking about the presidential election of Barack Obama this week.
Okay.
Barack Obama is our 44th president, the first black president here in the United States. And he also made, there's made a lot of headlines this week with him secretly, going pro-choice on us and stuff. But what do you think about all the fanfare that's going on about this president? How come we haven't seen it with George Bush when he was elected president, or...
Well, we all know the answer to that, but...
which is what? Well, George Bush was a big waste of 8 years.
The disappointment, and the eggs were thrown at the limo on the first time he got elected.
Really?
Yeah.
I knew that. Okay.
I think it was the first, maybe second time he got it back into being president. I don't know.
Okay, well, what's behind this whole fanfare with Barack Obama? I know we're all excited that he's, Bush is out of office. Kate, what's this big hype all about? Be real with us.
The generations that have voted for Barack Obama have been the ones that have, we have to understand the whole thing from the racism era of the 60s. That's past. And all the people who were, there have been generations who have been born since that time, who've grown up in an era where we've had more equality, I guess.
So you're talking about, so you think it's about the color of his skin, that's this bringing this whole hula across America where he's our...
Well, I guess so. It shouldn't be. I mean, ideally, it should be about, when a president's a president, it should be about your character, your issue, and so forth. But we know more about, I don't think we know enough about his character. That's, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah. What do you think, Jeff?
I totally agree with Kate. It's about the color of the skin. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be like that about that. And Obama's actually trying to downplay that. But I think people are unintentionally giving him a hard way to go because they're excited. Yes, he's the first black man in president. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, after his oath, right before the parade, the newscasters were interviewing people, and of course they were interviewing more blacks than whites, which I didn't agree with, but it's their day, supposedly. And one woman said, now my son knows he has an opportunity. It's like, well, why didn't he know that the day before? I mean, like Kate said, it's been how long? 40 years since we were free at last, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and it's been a work in progress since then. But they still had they've had the same opportunity. Nobody goes and tells them and says, you go to college, but you go out on the street corner, sell crack, and shoot people. They have the same opportunity as we do.
Yeah. Well, you know why I'm most excited about this election? I'm not trying to blame anything on the black race, because there's a lot of hardworking African Americans here in America, just as many, I think, as white people, because there's a lot of people white who are lazy as well. But a lot of what we've heard in the past, the big excuse that we've always heard, like on TV shows and excuses why there's so much crime and problems in the black community, is that they've always claimed that it's their skin color that's holding them back from making something of themselves in America. I'm not saying this about every black person.
It's them that's holding themselves back.
It's an excuse to fall back on when things don't work out for them. Oh, it's the color of my skin. They turn the whole race card. Go ahead, Jeff.
Quick story. This is actually a true story, and I just thought of this. I was talking to my father earlier today, and he said there's a doctor up in, a black doctor, African American, whatever you choose to say. He's been a doctor for about 24 years. A bloody victim came in. They get all kinds of stuff up in Newark and Trenton. It's a bad area, obviously. Bleeding victim comes in. They couldn't save him. They did everything they could. He was all shot up. Turns out the black doctor knew this guy. He went to school with him. And he said, it's funny, they talk about racism and the color of the skin that brings them down and everything like that. Well, I chose my path. I'm a successful doctor. It looks like he chose his path, too.
Yeah. Well, you go gangbang, and that's what's going to happen. And it's not because you're black. It's because of what you've decided in life. So if having a black president is going to make you mentally change your outlook on life, well...
Think again.
I think it's a good thing. If this is what they need to see, that, for them to be able to say, hey, I can do it, then I think it's worth the while. But
I agree, but I think the old saying is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You're not going to save everybody. You know.
Yeah. Well,
It's not going to change.
There's still going to be lazy people in the black community after the president has this thing, and there's going to be lazy people in the white community as well. There's just going to be lazy people in general, but they can no longer use that as an excuse that I'm black, I can't, so therefore I won't try. You know, you can, and Barack Obama's the proof.
You know what else too? Like I just wanted to say is that why all this emphasis on we shouldn't be any emphasis on race whatsoever, and why do we even have these need to have these distinctions between like why should someone need to call themselves even African American? I mean my ancestors came from Europe. I don't call myself European American. I mean well seriously. I mean just that makes no sense to me. I mean the only reason to distinguish anybody's skin color, hair features, or whatever is just to point one individual out from another, just to say, just to know who you're talking about. If you're talking about something in general, like, okay, this is this person, this is their features, whatever. But other than that, why this distinction? Why would you call yourself African American? You're American. Why don't call myself white American or like European American? I mean, I don't understand the distinctions. We're Americans. Doesn't matter what your skin color is.
Right.
That's what I say. So.
Exactly.
An appendage to what Kate just said. If Obama is the mental and physical proof that you need, and if you're African American and that satisfied you, then you no longer need a Black History Month.
Well, it should be everybody's.
It should be everybody's History Month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that brings up a whole new.
Yeah. No, I agree because I think it's racism to distinguish any one race and give any one race a History Month. We don't have. What about the Native Americans, American Indians, or whatever is the preferred way to, call the individual. I mean, they don't. Look what they've done, and what they've suffered, and they don't have a History Month like as a group. Not that any group I think should. I mean, every group has been oppressed at some point.
Yeah.
Every group you can think of. But so, I think that it should be just called to be fair to everybody, to be totally unracist. It should be History Month, if we're going to have a History Month.
Right, I agree with that.
It should be all a History Month. Obama himself said he wanted to break down the racial barriers. It's like, okay, and if he, like I said just a little while ago, if he's the physical and mental reminder to whoever black is left out there who is a non-believer that the whites are keeping them down and their color is, then he's living proof.
Absolutely.
He's living proof. You've got your proof. You no longer need your Black History Month. You no longer need to you just don't need to be discriminated and think you're discriminated against. You have what you want. You have everything you want. But I honestly think that they've had the proof already. I guess this is the icing on the cake. Then so be it.
Proof to everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one good thing, there's a lot of negative role models, in my opinion, for African American teenagers with rap. I'm sorry. You can call it music if you want, okay? But if you take a look at who's mainstream and who are the big top-selling rap popular stars, they're all about money, drugs, bitches, and this and that and this and that. Barack Obama is a good role model, I believe, for today's youth.
Minus the abortion.
Well, the abortion thing. Yeah, the abortion thing. But other than that, I think he's a good positive role model for young black men in America. We have to go. We're at 10 minutes, but say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
See you next time.
All right, ciao.